So yeah, I'm excited to be here with Fran and Lariena from Virtual Construction Controllers in Austin, Texas. They're going to give us an awesome presentation. I've been working with Lariena and Fran for quite a while now. You guys have been with the JobTread family and helping several of our customers. So I'm super excited to have you guys on today. Before we get into that, though, got just a few little things. I want to remind everyone, if you're not part of our JobTread Pros Facebook group, it's a great place to be. We got a lot of networking, a lot of people asking questions, getting help, learning best practices. Lariena and Fran are both very active on that Facebook group as well. So very much appreciate that. I know we get a lot of questions that are often, out of our wheelhouse. We are, definitely not always the best suited to answer, accounting and, questions about, QuickBooks and some of those intricacies that you guys are very well versed on. So very much appreciate all the engagement that you guys have there as well. So definitely come request to join if you're not in there already. I also want to just remind everybody about JobTread Connect. It's going to be our second time doing this user conference in Dallas, Texas. It will be in January 17th to the 19th. So you can grab your tickets directly in JobTread Marketplace. We're really excited to have this event again. We've had overwhelming support, from various sponsors, the ones last year as well as new ones coming up that have really helped us to put on this event. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a 3-day event. Should be jam packed. Hoping somewhere between 350, 400 of you all, maybe more, are going to come out. And so it's a great opportunity to get to meet the entire JobTread team, from our customer success people to our developers to our marketing team, our sales guys. I mean, pretty much the entire company will be there for the entire event. Very excited to have you guys. To one of our welcome events is at our office. But yeah, it should be a really great time. And then it's also exciting that we can bring all of our partners out to this event as well, so you can get to meet them face to face, in person, learn even more about what they can do for your business. So it really is a great opportunity to come to learn both business skills, learn about other services that that are part of our marketplace and our platform here, as well as get some JobTread skills. So definitely want to see you all out there. Lastly, we've got our Builder Stories podcast. So continue to put out episodes every single Wednesday. Lots of great learning and knowledge being shared here. So if you're not a subscriber to that, definitely check it out. You can go to jobtread.com /builder stories, I believe, or actually you can just go to builderstories.com, or you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all the usuals there. So definitely check these out. A lot of good stuff. And lastly, before we dive into our webinar, I did want to share that we got a couple upcoming webinars, in the next couple of weeks. So again, on October 15th, we're going to have 5 steps to guarantee ROI with digital marketing. That's going to be with Hike Digital, our new marketplace partner. And then we've got one on October 19th is how to attract, capture, and convert high quality leads for custom builders and remodelers. That's with another one of our new partners that's going to be coming on soon, Builder Lead Converters. So definitely be sure to block those out on your calendars. We'll have the registrations coming up here soon. All right, well, I want to go ahead and turn this over to Lariena, who's going to be walking us through her presentation today. So let me stop sharing here. And while she's sharing that, I want to again, thank you all. Fran, Lariena, you all have been, very instrumental in helping us learn a lot of the ways that we needed to improve JobTread, from, the back office side. You guys have been supporting, many of our customers and have provided just tons of, services there that have helped. But it's also been a great opportunity to collaborate with you so that we can continue to improve JobTread. And, again, just want to thank you all for, all of your support, all of the feedback and, the enhancement ideas and things that you've done for us. I've been a great partner, and we really appreciate you. So I'm excited to hand it off and start taking notes.
Thanks, Eric. We really appreciate your partnership and support as well. Welcome, everyone, to Secrets to Streamlining Your Construction Business Operations. Spoiler alert, the secret is technology and processes. Today, I'd like to chat a bit about how you can use your JobTread and the integrations already available in your JobTread to build a tech stack that will streamline your operations. And I'd also like to chat about simple adjustments you can make to your processes that will make it possible to use your technology more fully. So let me start by saying who we are and introducing ourselves. We are My Staff, Your Staff support services and virtual construction controllers. My Staff, Your Staff support systems came about organically in 1994. We began implementing and training on Peachtree and QuickBooks accounting software. As we would finish up an implementation and hand over the new technology, we'd start to transition our clients into what their workflows are going to be for working in the new software. And they began to see that it actually takes some work to get data into these programs, and they didn't have a resource available to assist them with that. So they asked if we could handle that for them. Long before the cloud and all these fancy collab tools that we have today, we created workflows to make it possible for us to work with our clients remotely and virtually. We grew the business and we focused on what we knew. With decades of construction experience, we knew how to do job costing. And with Fran's military training, we knew how to group like tasks together into departments so we could process huge volumes of data and documents quickly, accurately, and efficiently. As construction project management software became more accessible to smaller and medium operations, we had more clients asking us for help with implementing their project management software. And again, then they would ask us for help to feed the machine. We realized there was a need for people knowledgeable in both construction and accounting to assist project managers and contractors with wrangling all of this data and technology. To meet this market need, we launched virtual construction controllers, and we pivoted our business model. We partnered with JobTread to bring their amazing technology and our skills and service together to provide something new. The kind of support that previously was only available to project managers in very large outfits is now available to you with our project assisting services. We're able to help our clients with the everyday challenges of running profitable projects. And because good project management uses the same data set that accounting requires, our controllers can also help you close your books and produce financial reports. We partner with our clients to work beside them every day and make it possible for them to focus on growing their business and maximizing their profitability. I'm Lariena. Hi. My Staff, Your Staff is our family business. It's made up of the 5 of us and a core group of longtime employees who are also part of our family. I grew up working here since 1994 for nearly 30 years now. When I was in high school, my mom, Fran, who you met earlier, said, "If you know how to read, you know how to file, get in the office and get to work." That was back in the olden days when everything was done on paper and everything had to be organized and filed away. Over the past 29 years, I've worked in all administrative and accounting functions of construction, everything from creating job folders for those old filing cabinets to crew dispatching, supplier price negotiations, chasing subs for insurance certificates, AI invoicing and lien notices. I've even written up land assessment reports from scientific field data. Currently, though, I focus on implementing JobTread for our clients and draw upon my wealth of industry knowledge to design solutions to help them automate their data and improve their efficiency using JobTread. Our vision here at VCC is life, work, harmony, and in that order. Our favorite thing about helping our clients is the impact we can help them create in their lives, helping them be rewarded for their efforts, them being able to create an exit plan for their future retirement someday, being able to take their family to Disney World for 10 days because, first of all, they now have the money to be able to do that. And second of all, they actually can be away from their business for 10 days without everything falling apart on them. Helping them grow their business into work that makes their life possible rather than a business that just consumes their whole life with work. I have a special knack for bridging the divide between the field and the office, and I excel at translating accounting into relatable and understandable concepts. When I'm not at my desk, geeking out about JobTread and process efficiency, I spend my time working in my garden and doing DIY construction projects with my husband and our dog Tito the Chorgi, who supervises. I also enjoy singing and dancing in musical theater stage productions. And now I want to talk about tech. So, why would you want a tech stack? Well, does that stack of receipts and subcontractor bills look familiar to you? Does that email box full of vendor bills look familiar to you? Perhaps you've already noticed that those piles of data and all those emails don't just appear in your JobTread all by themselves through magic or telepathy. But you really need to see how your job is doing. So all that data really has to be in your JobTread, and you don't have hours to spend on data management. So you want a tech stack. You want a tech stack to help you take advantage of the efficiencies that are already available within your JobTread software and through your integrations. With a tech stack, you can get some robots to help you turn that pile and those emails into data that feeds directly into your JobTread in a fraction of the time that you would spend entering everything yourself. And if you design all of this properly, that's a task that could even be delegated to another person on your team. So let's talk about how to design for delegation. We're going to address data capture, standard processes, job names, and then your cost codes and your cost catalog today. All right, so robots are great and they can help us do so much, but they're also picky eaters. For your robots to work at their best, you have to feed them what they like to eat. Luckily, you can turn your piles of data into a delicious robot buffet with just a few easy modifications to how your data and processes are designed. So now we're going to talk about a lot of ways that robots can help you streamline your business. I also want to take this opportunity to point out that it is important for the robots to be supervised to resolve any little hiccups that inevitably come with technology. And it's important to have someone with the skills to keep your technology functioning well together when you're talking about integrating other things. So let's talk about data capture. Data capture needs to be centralized, easy, mobile, and hopefully automated. And here are some questions to help you get started thinking about what your data capture processes look like. Where can subcontractors send bills? Where can suppliers send bills? How do I get data from the field in? How do I get those things in quickly? How do I get myself out of Grand Central Station? I know you probably feel like you're the main conductor in charge of Grand Central Station most days, with trains running back and forth all over you. The amount of data that flows through your business every day can quickly get overwhelming if you don't have a good system for how to corral all that data. Centralizing your data capture can help you get out of the fray. And you also want some automation there so your robots aren't just starving waiting on you to feed them information. Currently, email is really the primary method of communication for most businesses. And for all the shortcomings of email, it does still have many benefits. You really can do a lot with your filters and forwarding that will help you get your emails working for you 24 hours a day. We recommend a centralized email for data capture. It's much more efficient to have one place to look for everything. And you also want to make sure that important information your team needs is not trapped in your email where they can't access it. When you are ready to expand your team and bring in more people to help you out, they can also access that central email rather than them needing to get access to your private email account. And another resource that we use for data capture is an app called Dext, D-E-X-T. We really like the Dext app for document processing. It has a great mobile phone app that you can put on your phone that makes it really easy to get paperwork in from the field. It also has great document reading technology and robots that can do all of the basic data entry for you. And Dext integrates with your QuickBooks so that your data gets pushed from Dext into QuickBooks and then will automatically sync directly into your JobTread. So one of the things we need to think about when we're integrating and syncing across different networks is...
Did you skip a slide?
What's that?
Did you skip a slide?
let's see, we just talked about data capture. Now we're talking about, it did skip a slide. I need to go back a page. Standard processes. The most important thing about our standard processes is that they've got to be trainable. So some questions to get you thinking about what your standard processes look like are, what are the rules for data submittal? How does coding get communicated? Can you explain your workflows to an assistant? Are your data streams clear and segregated? And are you capturing data at the origination point? Do all of your subs and suppliers know what your rules are for how to submit their bills to you and what to expect from you on payment processing for them? Is everyone using the job name, number, or address to indicate which job the work was done for? And is that being clearly communicated on all your documents? Think about the steps that you take to complete one of your workflows. Are there a lot of exceptions? And by exceptions, I mean a lot of if this, then that, or, you know, we do it this way, except when it's this particular supplier, then we have to do something different. How complicated would it be for an assistant or someone else to take this task over from you? What is the built-in fail-safe if a step in your process gets missed? For example, here's a great example. In the Facebook group, I've seen a lot of people mention that their process is to enter receipts in the parking lot after they've purchased materials. Okay, so you're at the Home Depot, you just got a load of stuff, you've just secured all the materials in your trailer, and now you're sitting in your truck, you have your JobTread open on your phone, you're getting ready to enter that receipt, and then the phone rings. It's a really urgent issue on site. You've got to dash off, so the receipt lands on the floor to get handled later. But how do you remember to come back and do that? What is the check and balance that alerts you that that material was not handled before this emergency came up? In our process, an unmatched Home Depot receipt on the QuickBooks bank feed would alert us that something has fallen through the process and got missed. Does all of your data coming in truly belong to your business, or are your data streams getting muddied up by purchases that are not business related? Perhaps they're personal spending, or perhaps they're side jobs that are not being run through the business. That can definitely muddy up your data stream. And lastly, I feel like this one's the most important too. Data should be captured where it is originating. The person placing the order or buying the materials knows what it's for. When Billy Bob is over there at the Lowe's, he knows what house he's buying for. And when he checks out at the Lowe's, he can open the Dex app right there on his phone, snap a picture of the receipt, select the job and the cost code right then and there before that receipt becomes lost or the memory of what that was for becomes lost. Now we're ready to talk about job naming. Another important thing when you're integrating is understanding the hierarchy of how the data works and thinking about how you want to name your jobs, because you got to be strategic about it. So we all know that in JobTread, we have the customer. In this slide, that's Mr. Benito Burnside. And then we have the location, which is his house at 345 Fort William Street. And then we have our job, which we have the freedom to name in a lot of different ways. And that's the hierarchy in JobTread. Now, when that data moves into your QuickBooks file, this is how it correlates. It will come in first as a customer, that's Benito. And then underneath that customer will be a sub customer. That's your JobTread location of the house address. And then beneath that, nested there on a third level, is a sub customer in QuickBooks. And that's actually your JobTread job name. Now, it's important to know that the data point that's going to show up for you in QuickBooks and on all your other integrated apps is that third level, the JobTread job name. So you want to be strategic in how you name that. You want to think of a naming convention that's going to be useful and provide you with important data throughout your tech stack. I know it can be tempting to name your job kitchen in JobTread so that you'll know it's for kitchen work. And I agree, it's very valuable to know what kind of work you're doing. And the custom fields in JobTread are an excellent place for storing information like what kind of work is this? A kitchen, a bathroom, a house addition. You want to think about how those job names are going to show up for you in other software programs that are also sharing the data set of those job names. So this slide is actually a screen capture of our Dext. In this case, we got a Home Depot receipt and we're getting ready to code it. So we're pulling up the customer list, but as you can see here, I've got a long list of things that just say kitchen. How is anyone going to know which one of those is for the house on Fort William when they're trying to code this Home Depot? So you really want to be strategic with your job names and make them something that's going to help you find the job you're looking for when you're in your QuickBooks or another integrated app. And remember, again, the only data point that's going to show up for you there is the third level, the JobTread job name. Now, let's talk about how we can be strategic with our cost codes and catalogs so that we can make integrated technology able to work in this tech stack. So we really want our cost codes and catalog to be clear, logical, and achieve the necessary level of detail. When it's time to start adding to your team, and now there are other brains besides yours, I'm sure everything makes a lot of sense to you, but when you start adding other brains into the mix, it has to also be able to make sense to them. So it's helpful if things are standardized and if everything follows a logic that you could actually teach to another person. There are definitely things to consider from an efficiency standpoint, and there are also things to be aware of when you're workflowing through your tech stack and syncing into JobTread rather than originating your data directly in JobTread and syncing the opposite direction. The reason why you need your cost codes to be a certain way is for matching. When you are workflowing data in from integrated technology, things that flow into your JobTread will match to your JobTread budget. And the way that those happen is in QuickBooks. This first top section is a snap of what QuickBooks looks like. So the top section is called category details, and then that's not the one we want to use. We want to use this lower section called item details. And you can see here that my product service code I used in here is 06.10M framing materials in my QuickBooks item. So in my JobTread, this probably looks familiar to you. Your JobTread cost codes are mapped to your QuickBooks items. And then also in JobTread, your budget line items are mapped to those JobTread cost codes, which are in turn mapped to your QuickBooks item codes. So, as I mentioned, you don't want to use this top section for category details. If you do use that, the data will still sync into your JobTread, but the robots won't be able to make any matches for you because they can't match a general ledger. They're only matching item codes. Now, what happens if you don't get a match? Sometimes the robots are unable to match. And there's a couple of reasons why that might happen. So it's possible that there are multiple line items in your budget that all have the same item coding. Like for example, here I have 3 line items that are all pointing to 06.10M framing materials. And when the robots are trying to bring something in, they won't be able to tell which of those 3 line items that job cost should hit. So if they can't make a determination, that's okay. It still comes in. It's just going to go to uncategorized. And this bottom section, you might have noticed that my JobTread cost codes and my QuickBooks items are using the same names. If you structure your QuickBooks items and your JobTread cost codes to mirror each other, you have a much better chance of getting good matches on all your inflowing transactions automatically. Now, if something doesn't match, it's just going to come in uncategorized, and that is not that big of a deal because it's really easy to fix. Here in JobTread, transactions that can't get a match will show up at the very bottom of your budget in a new cost group that's automatically generated called uncategorized. And fortunately for all of us, the JobTread cost mapping tool makes it really simple to fix these uncategorized transactions that couldn't make an automatic match. If you haven't seen the tool or used it before, it is on your project in the reports tab. Just like scroll all the way down to the bottom of that reports tab, and you'll see the cost mapping. There's also a global list of uncategorized transactions that will show you all of the uncats on all your jobs, and that's in the main reporting tab, also all the way down at the bottom. Now, I would recommend that you do yourself a favor in case you ever do have to use this mapping tool. you're going to want to name your line items with something that will help you when you're here. See, in this top example, I called too many of my line items just framing, and now it's really hard to figure out which one of these I want to choose when I'm in cost mapping. I'm going to have to go back to my budget and try to figure that out. But if I name them, for example, now there's roof framing material, basement framing material. Now it's easier for me to make a determination right here in the tool where that wants to end up. And selecting that will move your cost right into that budget line item. Some general best management practices. General pointers for your QuickBooks items lists and your JobTread cost codes. If you go too broad, it's going to be difficult to get useful data in your financial reports. At a very minimum, we recommend that everybody track labor and materials separately where that's possible, so that you can provide accurate reports of your subcontractor costs when you have to give numbers for your annual insurance audit. Any of you who've ever been through an insurance audit, I'm sure know that if you don't have a certificate of insurance for a subcontractor, you end up having to cover them under your insurance. And the last thing you want is to pay premiums on a bunch of materials because it's sitting there in your subcontractor account on your QuickBooks, when you really should only have to cover insurance for the labor. There are also pitfalls with getting too detailed with your cost codes. A QuickBooks item list and JobTread cost code list with hundreds of different numbers is difficult to manage and will lead to additional complexity in trying to get things properly coded to your job. And that's really an issue you're going to run into no matter which way you're workflowing, whether you're originating transactions in JobTread or originating transactions through another integrated app that runs through your QuickBooks. It always just comes down to return on investment. What's the return you get in actionable data on the investment of your time and effort that you put into maintaining that library of cost codes and the effort of running your jobs on those cost codes? And finally, I leave you with some parting takeaways, questions that you can ask yourself to start working on your own processes. So regarding your data captures, what can I do to centralize my document intake? How can I prevent data silos? How do I prevent bottlenecks in my data flow and my workflow? On your cost codes, how much detail do I actually need in my QuickBooks and JobTread? Can someone else figure out where to code job costs to? Have I gone too broad or too detailed? And regarding processes, can I get my suppliers and subs to indicate jobs on their document? What is the fail-safe for all of my processes, the check and balance? And can I explain this workflow in 3 minutes? If I can't explain this workflow to someone else in 3 minutes, it's perhaps a little too complicated and might need to be simplified. And that is what I have for y'all today. I think we are open to questions now.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate it. So what questions does everyone have? Let us know in the chat. I saw we had one from chat asking about, why use Dext instead of QBO Mobile for receipts?
That's a great question, and I will tell you why. QBO Mobile is actually a pretty decent, they have decent OCR. When you upload receipts in there, it does a pretty good job of reading. It used to be craptastic, but it's actually way better now. The main issue with the QBO receipt capture is the interface that you have there in QuickBooks to use will only let you send that receipt to a GL code. It won't let you use the items. So now I can't get a match from the robots when it syncs into JobTread. Literally everything you put in is going to go to UNCAT, and you're going to have to use the mapping tool to push it to the right budget line item. QBO receipt capture also doesn't let you interface with it as easily. It doesn't have a sweet mobile interface like Dext does, where you just pull the Dext app up. It opens your camera to take a picture directly. It doesn't put that picture on your phone. So instead of, pictures of your kids, now your whole camera roll is just full of pictures of receipts. And you can use the drop downs there in the Dext app to indicate what job you want it to go to and what item coding you want it to go to.
Awesome. I saw Darren has his hand raised. Darren, did you have a question there? I don't know if you want to type it in the box there, but yeah, welcome. Any other questions from the audience? I'm curious to see maybe, who out there is currently using Dext, or what other, kind of solutions. Yeah, just sort of interested because I know there's a couple others similar, right, Lariena, that you guys may have some experience with. What are some of those others?
So we've also used bill.com, which also has some pretty decent robots for helping you with data entry. It just, the way that it was better when the way that everybody did business was a lot more like, I'm going to get a bill from this vendor and I'm going to owe them money and then I'm going to pay it. Well, so many people now just want you to swipe your card. So now instead of bills, we deal with a lot more receipts. And bill.com was not so great at receipts. It really is called bill.com because it can only make bills. So then everything you want to put in, you have to enter as a bill and then do the secondary step of marking that bill as paid. So it was just one extra step, which might not be a big deal if you're talking about 10 receipts, but when you're talking about 10,000, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I see we've got another question from Jackie. Can Dext convert from another currency? Which
that I don't have an answer to. I only work on Dext in American currency, and I'm not a representative of Dext, so I don't fully know how their platform would handle international currency.
Gotcha. What would you say, Lariena, if you had to kind of think back about, just after implementing so many, different companies, I mean, what do you think is typically the biggest challenge that you guys, see people struggling with, and what advice, would you give them?
Definitely the biggest challenge we see people struggling with is document intake, corralling all that data. It is vast amounts of data that are flowing into your business every day. And what we see across the board, everyone, businesses of all sizes, even all industries, not just construction, but how to deal with these dang receipts. Every single business in the world has this problem, and it's a sticky situation. I mean, what do you do about it? Well, there's technology that can help, because the best thing to do is to not have to keep tabs on all these receipts and keep track of where that little slip of paper is gone. And document intake, like how to get all of this data that's coming from sources all over the place. It's coming from vendors, it's coming from stores, it's coming from the field, it's coming from your customers. How do you route all of that somewhere to a centralized holding tank? Because having to go all over town and gather that data up is very time consuming, and you're likely to miss things. So how do you get all that routed to a centralized location where it can be dealt with then? I mean, half the battle of dealing with all this incoming data is just getting your hands on the data and putting it somewhere where it needs to be dealt with.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And one of the other problems, Eric, that we encounter in implementation is data structure. So a lot of people don't understand the value of brainstorming your processes and brainstorming what the outcome is. And so then they end up creating a monster out of their data because they went too granular, or they didn't go granular enough, or they didn't put enough details in. And so now the reporting side of their data means nothing to them. It has no value to them, and they just give up very quickly. They're like, oh, this doesn't work. I don't want to use this software. I'm just going to try something else, and they give up too soon. So it's important to brainstorm and develop that data structure and what your outcomes are going to be, especially as they relate, as you start to integrate the apps. Like whatever's going to work for JobTread isn't necessarily, excuse me, going to work for QBO. And then now you've done messed up. You created something in JobTread that could create a mess in your QBO in the reporting of financial statements, or it could make a mess in your bill.com, and now we have data integrity issues, or in other integrated apps that you're using. So it's really important to put all that thought process in and work out your processes first, and then what is the end result I'm looking for when it comes to reporting on the different modules that I'm using.
Yep. Makes total sense. I see John here said, I'm a production builder. My biggest challenge is moving to a PO type system. Right now, my vendors and trades send invoices and I pay them. The bad news is I am the only one who knows all the costs. My transition to a bookkeeper / controller is going to be painful. having someone who knows how to transition using JobTread could be very appealing. This assumes you know how to use the PO end of JobTread, which I am not currently using.
Yeah. Tracking your committed costs is definitely very beneficial for your business, and it is something you want to get into. The transition of moving to a bookkeeper or controller doesn't have to be painful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so why don't we take that, just as a second here? I mean, like maybe you can help kind of explain, exactly like how do you work with, businesses, and like, where is it, is there a particular size of business that you all try to work with, revenue wise or employee wise, like, and then what does that process look like?
Fran, you want to take that one?
Okay, so we tend to work with businesses that are experiencing much more pain point once they hit that $1 million mark. So when they're below the 1 million, they're still doing everything at their kitchen table, still doing everything on their own, and they don't have the same pain points that they're going to experience once they cross over into that $1 million mark. Now, lots more paperwork, lots more people hitting them up, lots more fires to put out, lots more chaos taking place. And so we want to come in and help tame that chaos with good processes and good operational flows. So we're going to start with a client who is at that level. We can go as high as 13 million in gross revenues, and then we might want to talk about switching them into some other high-end software that handles them depending on their complexities. Sometimes I can take a client all the way up into 20 and $30 million in gross revenue. It really just depends on how well they're performing in those processes that we create for them as a tech stack and a platform to work from. We work on a weekly subscription fee with our clients so that they know what the budget's going to be. We do have some requirements. We have a collaboration app that we use to collaborate with our clients on a real-time basis. We do want to process your work on a real-time basis. We do handle purchase orders. We do that a little bit differently because JobTread doesn't track a purchase order. It just creates it and puts it in committed costs. And a lot of our clients want to be able to track the purchases coming in against that purchase order and where they're at, what's left to be gotten on that PO. So we do use a different method of tracking the purchase orders. We're still going to create them in JobTread, but we're going to track them separately somewhere else. And so we use a different system for that. We design a lot of operational workflows for our incoming contractors because they're not there yet. Like they just know chaos. They just know that I got fires going on everywhere.
Or things that make sense to them and aren't really an official process.
Right. And then getting them to understand the value of creating unsiloed data and creating trainable, transferable operations so that anybody could step in and do that. Because you are going to go through people. You're going to go through a bookkeeper who's not going to be happy with trying to turn her into a project assistant in JobTread. Like, why do I have to do your JobTread? I just do bookkeeping, So you are going to struggle with keeping people engaged in what you're trying to make them do, which could be out of their wheelhouse, out of their ability, out of their strengths. And so we create those processes that can be trainable and transferable to other people in your organization to be able to work those.
Awesome. Yeah. So, and just to remind everyone, so if you're interested in reaching out to Fran and Lariena here, they are in the marketplace. So in your JobTread settings marketplace, you can go ahead and reach out to them there and get in touch. And I know typically I think Fran, right, you're sort of the first point of contact. You'll hop on a call, really do a discovery with them, and all of that is all that's free, right? They can meet with you and kind of learn, make sure you guys are both a good fit for each other.
Right. And so one of the things too that we do is that we only onboard 2 clients a month. And that's because of the personal attention that we have to give them, and because we have to integrate the stacks. A lot of times I have to clean up your data structure because you didn't design it properly to fit with the JobTread and what you're trying to accomplish at the back end. And so we want to be able to give that attention to those onboarders. And so we do have a waiting list. Right now we are taking 2 new clients for the month of October. So don't wait before that waiting list gets long again. And so, creating that process and then being able to close the book. So we do want to do that Zoom meeting first and make sure that we are a good fit. I have a whole list of pre-qualification questions like, are you coachable? Do you like technology? Do you want to use technology? Do you want to grow your business? And do you want to do it without chaos? So
awesome. Well, yeah, we really appreciate all the insights you all have shared here today. And, again, just, everyone be sure to reach out to them. You'll also be able to meet them in person at JobTread Connect in January.
yeah.
So, yeah, super excited to have you all as a sponsor for the event again. I know that has been very much appreciated, with all of our partners, and being able to, have that face-to-face connection where people can, really get to meet the people on the other side of the screen. It's really important that, you know your partners and who you're doing business with, to make sure that, they're good people. And, I can attest to Fran and Lariena being great people, really, really great to work with. So yeah, do reach out to them if you're interested in learning more. But, wanted to thank everyone for attending today, and for taking that time to learn more about their business. And yeah, if there's anything else, Fran or Lariena, you'd like to add there before we wrap up.
Thank you, everyone, for attending, letting me share and geek out with y'all about JobTread and technology and process efficiency, my 3 favorite things.
Yes, and I'd also like to say that, when we first engaged with JobTread, I put out a functionality worksheet to different companies to give me demos. I didn't want them to waste my time. We had already implemented Buildertrend, Procore, Contractor Foreman, all these other project management softwares that all of my clients, I couldn't get buy-in from. They wouldn't adopt because of one thing or another. And so when I put out the functionality list, Travis called us up and said, hey, you don't scare me. I think we can do most of these. And if you'll just give us the opportunity to demo, and it was probably the best decision we made. And that's why we decided to partnership with JobTread. We make all of our clients use JobTread. We won't use any other project management. You've been so receptive to our needs and how to change some things around to make it easier to be able to work from the backside instead of, bringing data up into JobTread, as opposed to what I call fat fingering in JobTread.
Yep. I still remember that list, Fran. That was quite a daunting list.
Oh yeah.
One of the more daunting lists I think we've ever received. But yeah, we're excited that we didn't have to check off every single box right away. But I think we continue to make progress. I know we still got some things on the list, but
yeah,
we're getting there.
Definitely, a lot of things on our wish list have happened since that first meeting.
Yeah. So hopefully, eventually we'll be able to get all those things checked off. And at the end of the day, we do very much value all of the back office, the accounting, the bookkeepers, the people who are managing multiple clients. We understand that it's very important to make sure that we can help make you all the most efficient possible, so that you can just be able to help and service more and more companies. Because, again, we see the value, we see the benefit. It's very important that you have somebody who's going to really help you, manage all of your finances, your accounting. So many times I see just poor, financial management of a business can be the reason that, you end up going under. And so, I can't state it enough. Like, I think it's one of the most important partners that you can have is someone, to help you, make sure that your books are organized and in order, and that you've got the financial, reporting and everything that you need to keep your business healthy and growing. So, with that.
Yes, and managing your JobTread too. That's why we created the new product of doing managed services for JobTread, because feeding that monster is really important too. That's the first point of contact on data that filters into the financial. So if I can't get it right in the JobTread, then the books are just going to be a mess.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you again. And we look forward to seeing you in January.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see y'all there.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.